Hi VC, Midge here, a guy in a hat who likes to talk about records. And on today's video, I want you to think of me as a ray of sunshine. I want you to think of me as a beacon of light, extinguishing the darkness. And for all those who despair, I want to bring hope. Now, what am I talking about? It's a good question. I'm talking about charity shops. Now, charity shops, record collectors have a sort of like a love-hate relationship with charity shops, don't they? You sort of spend half your life in them looking for that rare elusive gem that never turns up, and all you do is wade through thousands and thousands of easy listening records. Now, I haven't found anything decent in charity shops for ages, and it's a bit like it's like a moth to a flame for record collectors, isn't it? You're thinking, don't go in, don't go in. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. But you're drawn to that flame. You're drawn to the fact that there's a 1 in a million chance there'll be something decent in there at a decent price, and you'll fall lucky. But you just don't. It's just one of those fallacies, isn't it? It's like trying to go in HMV and trying to find a decently priced record. It's just never going to happen. But you go in there thinking, well, maybe they'll have a sale one day, and they'll no. So charity shops, yeah. So like most collectors, I have a love-hate relationship with charity shops. So I found a couple of decent bits this year. Nothing really rare or anything like that. But if you're after DVDs or CDs these days, charity shops are a treasure trove. You can get loads of stuff, dirt cheap, brilliant. But I'm a record collector, and so you get dispirited like going through. I can't think of how many charity shops I've been in over the years record collecting, and there's very few decent picks I've got in Sheffield anyway. I don't know, it's like around the country, but you do see videos of people bringing huge hauls back from charity shops. I don't always believe them, but I suppose there's hope out there, and that's what this video is about, to be honest with you. I'm trying to bring a bit of hope into record collecting circles again. So basically, my theory about charity shops is I think that they're a bit like fruit machines in terms of you have to put so much money in, and then eventually they'll pay out. Or them grabbers that you get at the seaside when they go down to pick a toy up, and they're so limp, and they just, even if you get it perfectly, they drop. It's just I think you've got to basically flick through, perhaps say 10,000 charity shop vinyl pieces before you actually find a decent one. So I think that's how it happens. It's sort of like, it's a gradual thing. You've got to put the work in, you've got to pay your dues. So anyway, to cut to the chase, I was in a charity shop the other day. It's one I've been to quite a few times over the years. In the past, before the vinyl boom, I used to get some really, pretty cheap, decent classic rock tiles and things like that. And if I'm passing, I'll always just pop in and have a quick look. But these days, you hardly see anything. So, this charity shop, the records are right under a shelf, right at the back of the shop. So, forget footballing injuries. I've got crate diggers' knees from years and years of being on the hands and knees in record shops trying to find stuff. So it's not exactly easy looking through them. But anyway, I was flicking through them, same old stuff, same easy listing titles, blah 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 blah. And it was getting harder and harder to get to the back of these crates because they were right under the shelf, right on the floor. And I sort of let the pile fall back. And as it fell back, I thought, that looks like Hapsash and the Coloured Coat album. No, it isn't. But then I thought, you can't leave it, can you? You've got to check and just be doubly sure. So I had a quick flick back through, and I thought, it's that album. Then I thought, yeah, but it's going to be a reissue, isn't it? And I thought, yeah, well, just have a quick look at it. It's going to be a reissue or it's going to be knackered. So I thought, I'd just have a quick look. I had a quick look. I thought, this looks like an original. Original's on red vinyl, isn't it? Pulled it out, red vinyl. And then my heart starts beating. Then you're thinking, "Whoa, could be on something." Then I thought, "Yeah, but it'll be priced ridiculously high, £10." And I thought, "Whoa!" So I thought, this has got to be a bootleg or something. But I thought, £10 for a copy, I'll pick it up and take it home. So I did. So this is the copy in question. Hapsash and the Coloured Coat, featuring the Human Host and the Heavy Metal Kids. Took it home, had a look on Discogs, It appears to be a 1967 mono original, which is a bit mind-blowing, to be honest. It's got the right catalogue number on the sleeve. It's laminated front and back. It's on red vinyl. It's on the minute label. And I was thinking, whoa, how much does this go for these days? So looking it up on Discogs, which is a bit of a minefield. There's a few different pressings. But yeah, it's an original mono pressing for £10. £10, couldn't believe it. The downside is, there's always a downside, is obviously it doesn't have the insert that came with the original copies, and the vinyl, it's got a few marks on it. I'd say it plays VG. There's a few crackles, but fortunately, it's one of those really loud albums. So aside from the run out groove and the intro groove, which you get a few crackles and pops, you don't really hear anything all the way through it. So that's, I couldn't believe my luck. Absolutely, blown away by that. The sleeve's in pretty good condition as well, as you can see. There's just a bit of laminate lift. It all checks out on Discogs. All the titles are listed numerically. It's got the address at the bottom. And yeah, couldn't believe my luck. Just, original mono pressing for a tenner. I couldn't believe it. So I've looked on Discogs, and the highest price obviously was 200 quid. I can't see anybody paying 200 quid for this album, to be honest with you, if you've heard it, which I'll get onto in a bit. But the median price is about 50 quid. And obviously this doesn't have the insert and it's VG, but still it's worth more than a tenner. So yeah, absolutely chuffed to bits. And obviously I have had a copy for a long time. I've had the Arcama pressing of it. I think this was a 2002 pressing on Arcama. Nothing wrong with it, sounds okay. Different back cover. This is the insert that came in with the original. It was like a cardboard insert of the guys from the band slipped in, so obviously it's different from the original cover. I can show you them. But yeah, well chuffed to pick that up. So there is hope out there. There is hope in charity shops. I honestly couldn't believe it. The album itself, obviously Hapsash and the Coloured Coat were two graphic designers, Nigel Weymouth and Michael English, I think it was. Most famous for their psychedelic posters they used to do for underground bands in the 60s. They were like an art partnership. Used to do really cool psychedelic posters for like Jimi Hendrix, Soft Machine, and blah blah blah. Big underground acts of the time. They decided to make an album, to expand their art into making an album, which is a bit of a cheat really, because they weren't musicians and they couldn't play anything. So basically, the heavy metal kids were basically the band Art, who they made an album on Ireland called Supernatural Fairy Tales, which I've got somewhere, and then they morphed into the band Spooky Tooth. So basically, it is that band, and this album is just basically jamming. It's just 5 tracks of 60s sort of like freak folk jams, acid rock jams, lots of percussion and sort of chanting and stuff all the way through it. No proper songs really. I mean, a lot of it is just like sort of rudimentary sort of jamming and sort of cylindrical riffs that just don't really go anywhere, but it is of its time and it is quite entertaining in parts. Side B's got the famous Empires of the Sun track on it, which is 16 minutes long. I think it was the longest track on an album at that point. I could be wrong in that. I think the only other person who attempted a side-long track was the Mothers of Invention. I think Return of the Son of Monster Magnet might have pipped them to the post. But yeah, 16-minute jamming track on here, Empires of the Sun, absolutely bonkers. Really sort of like a really heavy bass riff that runs through the entire song. Lots of larking about and chanting and silly voices and all sorts of types of percussion and people freaking out. So it's entertaining. It's nothing that's going to blow you away. It's not a lost psychedelic masterpiece or anything. And on the first side, you've got it's just basically more jams. But there's 4 tracks on the first side. A Mind Blown is a Mind Shown. Great title for a song. You've also got which is basically that. It's just loads of mass vocals sort of chanting mantras and sort of like but it sounds quite good actually, the way all the vocals are layered and things like that. And you've got the free key. This title's really spooky. I've always found this title a bit spooky. The New Messiah Coming 1985, which is sort of like it's got a really weird sort of acoustic riff that just endlessly repeats, and there's loads of chanting over it. It's a bit of a spooky track and a spooky title I've always found. I don't know why. I think it's a bit spooky. But yeah, it's just basically a jam album, very much of its time. They did make another album. Bizarrely enough, they brought Mike Batt on board, who's the guy who did the songs for the Wombles in the 70s. I've not heard that one, but this is quite a famous one. Very much of its time. It's not the sort of thing you have to be in the mood for it. It's not the sort of thing you'd put on all the time. Like I said, there's no real songs there. It's just endless jamming, and but yeah, still, it's worth picking up, and yeah, very experimental sounding. But to find in a charity shop, I mean, there was nothing of its ilk amongst there. There wasn't any other psychedelic albums in there. It really stood out like a sore thumb, and it was only because I knew the album cover and I saw the top bit of it as it's falling back. I thought that looks like the Hapsash album. That I actually went back through it, but yeah, £10 for this, I'm well chuffed. So like I say, it does play VG, so there's a few crackles and pops, but I'm well happy with that. But like I say, it just shows you, doesn't it? All those hours you put in. It's like my fruit machine theory. You've got to go through 10,000 easily listening albums to find a gem. So obviously, it was my time, and yeah, I'm going to keep this. I'm going to probably sell the other one, but keep this version because it's cool to have the red vinyl version. But yeah, it must have been my time. So, well, I don't know about you, but if I see that Demis Roussos album ever again, the one with the cover where it looks like he smelt his own fart. If I had £1 for every time I've seen that, I'd have a far better collection than I do now, far more expensive collection. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is, like Peter Gabriel says, don't give up. Keep looking, which is probably easy for him to say because he had probably had better charity shops in his area. But yeah, keep digging, keep searching, keep hunting. Yes, you've got to plough through James Last and Nana Mouskouri and all manner of horrors. But occasionally you find a diamond in the rough, as it were. So I'm not saying this is worth a fortune or it's worth, it's one of those 10,000 plus albums you hear about people finding in car boots and stuff. But still, I'm chuffed about it. It's good to find something like this in a charity shop these days because I'd more or less given up hope, to be honest with you. But don't give up hope. That's what I'm saying. This is what this video is all about. Don't give up hope. So pop down to your charity shop tomorrow, and who knows, you might find a 60s classic or not. But it's probably not, to be honest with you. But I don't want to give you false hope. But I'm just saying, keep going anyway. Anyway, bit of good news, eh? Okay, I'll see you on the next video. See you later.